Gaza's health ministry says more than 30,000 Palestinians have been killed in Gaza since October 7th. And former President Donald Trump has been removed from Illinois' presidential primary ballot. Good morning. I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News, and here are today's top stories. The health ministry in Gaza says more than 30,000 people have been killed there in the war between Hamas and Israel. It began last October when Hamas attacked Israel, killing at least 1,200 people. NPR's Aya Batrawi says some Israelis have challenged the death toll, saying some of the Palestinians who have been killed are Hamas fighters.
The ministry has been keeping detailed records from hospitals that show most of the deaths since the war began are women and children. That's very much not in dispute. And we've spoken to countless survivors in Gaza and witnessed, through our own producer there, attacks where victims of Israeli airstrikes were civilians, including women, men, and children.
NPR's Aya Batrawi reporting. President Biden and former President Donald Trump will both visit the southern border in Texas today to see immigration conditions. Trump is claiming that his visit is what prompted Biden to go today. The White House contradicts that. It says Biden's visit was already planned and notes he has previously visited the border during his presidency. The immigration issue is proving to be consequential in this year's presidential election. Illinois has removed Donald Trump's name from the state's presidential primary ballot. The state's primary is set for March 19th. From member station WBEZ, Dave McKinney reports Trump is pledging to appeal the decision.
Trump attacked the judge's decision as unconstitutional. The judgment now makes Illinois the third state, along with Colorado and Maine, in booting Trump from the ballot on grounds his actions January 6th disqualify him as a candidate under the 14th Amendment. Chicago attorney Karen Lederer represents the Illinois objectors to Trump's candidacy and is praising the ruling.
It's contributing to the growing consensus of other reviewing bodies that have recognized and condemned Trump's decisive role in the January 6th attack on the Capitol.
The U.S. Supreme Court is facing pressure to decide Colorado's disqualification of Trump ahead of that state's Tuesday primary. For NPR News, I'm Dave McKinney in Chicago.
The Department of Transportation wants to make air travel in the U.S. more accessible to people who use wheelchairs. As NPR's Joel Rose reports, the Biden administration is proposing new standards for how airlines accommodate passengers with disabilities.
Travelers who use wheelchairs have long complained that airlines often damage or lose them. Now, the Biden administration is trying to change that. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the proposed rule would make it easier to hold airlines accountable when they damage or delay the return of a wheelchair.
This is about making sure that all Americans can travel safely and with dignity.
The rule would also require that airlines provide more training for employees who physically assist passengers with disabilities and handle wheelchairs. The immediate reaction from disability advocates was largely positive, although the rule does not go as far as some had hoped. Joel Rose, NPR News, Washington.
You're listening to NPR News from Washington.